The 21-22 season had it all: great games, incredible comebacks, and outstanding individual performances. It had its losers as well, those who didn't live up to the expectations and ended up being a disappointment. In this video, we'd like to tell you about them, the footballers whose market value has decreased the most since last summer, due to their poor performance, their age, or the lack of media coverage. But before we begin, try to answer this. Of these 4 players whose market value did not change in the 21-22 season: Dybala, Militao, Schick, Camavinga. Number 10. Marcel Sabitzer, from 42 to 15 million euros. Difference 27 million. Sabitzer's move to Bayern has looked questionable from day one. Why would the team need yet another midfielder while they already have Kimmich, Goretzka, Musiala and Tolisso? Some even thought that the only reason for that signing was weakening RB Leipzig. On the other hand, it could have been Nagelsmann's desire to work with his former player at the new club. However, Sabitzer joined Bayern in August. At first, he was often a starter, but then it became clear that he didn't have much to offer to the team's midfield, as the other players were simply better than Marcel. Kimmich at passing, Goretzka at strength and mobility, and Müller was pretty much untouchable. And it's not like Sabitzer was signed as a future replacement for Müller either. By the time the German gets too old, the Austrian will be in his 30s too. As a result, Marcel had to play various roles he wasn't used to playing, even left back sometimes. Such an unconvincing season couldn't help but affect the player's market value, so he dropped from 42 to 15 million euros since he changed clubs. Dear friends, we are aiming at creating the best videos about football, but we need your support. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications. Also leave your comments under this video. Thank you. Number 9. Eden Hazard, from 40 million to 12 million euros. Difference 28 million. The Belgian is still yet to rediscover his form, even though he's been at Real Madrid for 3 years already, so it's getting harder and harder to believe in Hazard. He is most often injured than not, and had only 18 La Liga appearances in the 21-22 season, and would often come in as a sub. Eden had to miss the entire spring, the crucial part of the season, due to injuries and poor form. He could have made up for that with his performance, but the Belgian had only 1 goal contribution this season, an assist against Alaves on match day 1. So this season was the worst even for Hazard. While there were some glimpses of his quality earlier, now the Hazard we used to see at Chelsea is nowhere to be seen. So of course his market value dropped significantly, and the former Premier League biggest star is now worth as little as 12 million euros. Number 8. Anthony Martial, from 45 to 16 million euros. Difference 29 million. The Frenchman's decline started long ago, as in 2021 season he lost his first 11 spot and then had to miss 3 months due to the knee injury. This season, it only got worse for Martial. He was either not selected for a game or had to stay on the bench. That was under Solskjaer, and when Rangnick took over, Martial realized that he was no longer needed at the club, as the new coach was reluctant to give him any chance, so the Frenchman went on loan to Sevilla in January. The loan move did him no good either. At first Anthony was starting games, but then the same story happened. Yet another club didn't need the Frenchman, so he was benched once again. He scored only once during his loan spell at Sevilla against Dinamo Zagreb back in February. So that was the story of one of the most promising strikers back in the days, who turned into a Sevilla bench warmer. Last summer Anthony Martial was worth 45 million euros, now only 16. Number 7. Frankie de Jong, from 90 million to 60 million euros. Difference 30 million. The 2021 season was a decent one for the Dutchman, as Frankie's performance against Athletic Bilbao, 1 goal and 2 assists, brought the Copa del Rey title to Barcelona. But this season, his progress was put on hold, mostly due to Ronald Koeman leaving the club. Although he wasn't the best coach for Barca, he knew de Jong well and knew how to use him best, as Frankie had already played under him at the Netherlands national team. And once Xavi took over, Frankie stopped playing like he used to. It's not like it was that bad a season for the Dutchman, but obviously he's no longer considered a key player at the club, as more faith is now put in Govey, the youngster who plays the same position and is a La Masia product, which is important for the fans as well as the board. There's been rumors of Frankie leaving the club for Manchester United, and that is something that may actually happen. The Red Devils would probably like to sign the Dutchman. Their new coach, Erik ten Hag, used to be his coach at Ajax, and Frankie's value is now only 60 million euros, which does make his signing affordable. Number 6. Casemiro, from 70 to 40 million euros. Difference 30 million. The most unexpected name in our list probably. Real Madrid has had a brilliant campaign, won La Liga and the Champions League, and the Brazilian has been a key player for Los Blancos as always. So why has he gotten cheaper? The answer is his age. It's as simple as that. Casemiro turned 30, and the Brazilian footballers are known for their lack of longevity. But it looks unlikely for Casemiro, as he's known to be a model professional, as his work ethics have always been unquestionable. Casemiro's stats pretty much prove it: 2.5 tackles and more than 1 interceptions per game, and in addition to that, the Brazilian won many falls. The Brazilian was essential for Real Madrid throughout the Champions League campaign, which secured the 14th title for Los Blancos. And when he had to miss a game against Man City, Real Madrid conceded 4 goals as they clearly lost the battle in the midfield. That does seem more than just a coincidence, but rather a display of Casemiro's importance for Real Madrid's football, so his market value may actually rise next season. Number 5. MarcAndre ter Stegen, from 60 million to 30 million euros. Difference 30 million. The German's bad luck continues. It all started at the end of the previous season, as ter Stegen was making one mistake after another. Once the most reliable Barca player turned into a disaster all of a sudden. Throughout the 21-22 season, he was solid with his passing, but not that good in goal. There were no more wonder saves he used to make before, but there were mistakes that sometimes cost his team too much, like that penalty against Napoli in the Europa League game, which Barca won, luckily for ter Stegen. But then, against Eintracht in the quarterfinal, MarcAndre was in fact the one to blame for the defeat, as he was beaten too easily by Boer at the near post. And there were more moments of that kind, so it's totally understandable why he doesn't cost 60 million euros anymore. Number 4. Timo Werner, from 65 to 35 million euros. Difference 30 million. Everything went downhill for Timo Werner when he changed RB Leipzig for Chelsea. His second season in England was a bit better, but still not good enough. It could be explained with some adaptation issues in his first season, or just a coincidence, but now it looks like Werner simply lacks quality. His conversion rate is still below par, and his XG numbers show exactly that. While there were at least assists coming from Timo in the 2021 season, 6 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League. This season he had only 5 goal contributions. As for his highlights, the only one was that goal against Real Madrid in the second leg, which could have made Chelsea's comeback possible, but it was not meant to be, and that's clearly not enough to boost the striker's market value. An attacker needs to be consistent, and consistency is what Werner lacks. However, he will likely have another chance at Chelsea, as there has been a way bigger failure: another striker. Number 3. Romelu Lukaku, from 100 million to 70 million euros. Difference 30 million. Now this is without a doubt the worst Chelsea signing in recent years. 113 million euros were paid for Lukaku. That's 2 times more than Werner cost them, and they both failed. And while Timo does have an advantage in his work ethics and being ready to sacrifice himself for the team's needs, Lukaku is not a team player. The German can be useful in attack, even if he doesn't score, making runs and creating space for his teammates. As for the Belgian, he's used to playing differently. At Inter, he was to run for the through balls from deep and outpace the defenders. Thomas Tuchel's football is much more possession-based, so Romelu can't play the way he used to. He's often isolated from the rest of the team, and he can't score by himself either, as he does depend on his teammates. Lukaku's scoring touch also failed him. 8 goals in the Premier League is surely not what the money was spent on. Apart from all the problems the Belgian had to face on the pitch, his controversial interview in which he criticized the coach did him no good either. No club will now spend 100 million on Lukaku as his market value is now only 70, and 70 million may look too much for such a one-dimensional player. Number 2. Lionel Messi, from 80 to 50 million euros. Difference 30 million. It seems that age does affect everyone, even the greatest. Lionel Messi's value dropped by 30 million euros since last summer as he's turned 35 recently. It has been decreasing for years, that's true, but never before we have seen such a massive drop. And it's not only about Leo's physical attributes, but his mental state as well, as the Argentine, as it looks like, is still struggling to find himself away from Barcelona. The season at PSG was his worst one in 17 years. 6 League One goals came as a shock for all the fans, and now Leo is not among the world's best anymore. His genius got outshone by the likes of Benzema, Salah and Mbappe, his teammate. Now it seems like it's Benzema and not Leo who is going to be the one to win the 2022 Ballon d'Or. All these reasons combined is why Lionel Messi is now worth only 50 million, and this price does seem reasonable. Number 1. Koke, from 60 to 25 million euros, difference 35 million, and Marcos Llorente, from 80 to 45 million euros, difference 35 million. The 2021 was the golden one for Atletico, but after they won La Liga, something happened. The following season was way worse, as Atleti were struggling to get into the first 4 at some point. One of the reasons is the leader's decline. One of them is Koke. The captain's market value decreased by 35 million euros. His form has been criticized for years, both by the fans and the media, and his age should also be taken into account. This winter, Koke turned 30. Another disappointment is Marcos Llorente, who was moved further up the pitch by Simeone and managed to score 12 goals in the 2021 season. But he was unable to repeat that, and his market value dropped as quickly as it had risen. Because of his form and the injuries, Marcos had to suffer throughout the season. 2 other important players, Oblak and Griezmann, haven't been at their best either, as they both got cheaper by 25 million euros. The keeper didn't look like himself throughout the season and was nowhere near as good at saving shots, which is shown by his advanced stats. He should have conceded 6 goals less than he did. As for the Frenchman, Antoine has been terrible since he got back to Atletico. Only 3 goals in La Liga. A lot of fresh blood is needed if the club still wants to compete for trophies, that's for sure. All the players we've told you about have had their own reasons why their form on market value dropped, be it poor form or just age. Which one of them can make it and grow in price next season? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. See you soon.